I brought my best friend to Canada. I paid for her ticket, let her stay in my apartment rent-free, helped her find work under the table while her visitor visa was still valid. And she repaid me by marrying my husband while I was being deported. But let me start from the beginning, because this one go pain you well. My name is Amora, and in 2019, I was living what every Nigerian girl prayed for, the Canadian dream. I had my PR after 5 years of hustle, a decent job as a medical lab technician in Toronto, and a husband, David, who was born and raised Canadian. Nigerian parents, yes, but passport Canadian. Which meant when we got married in 2018, he could sponsor me. My PR came through fast. Too fast, I would later realize. Life was sweet, oh. Not easy, Canada is never easy, but sweet. I was sending money home to my family in Enugu every month, had my own car, used, but still, and lived in a proper apartment in Scarborough. Not those basement shoebox rooms where 4 of us used to squeeze like sardines when I first came on student visa. Real apartment. 2 bedrooms. That second bedroom, that's where the trouble started. December 2020, my phone rang. It was Blessing Okoro. My best friend since secondary school in Nigeria. My ride or die. The girl who knew all my secrets, who I'd cry to on WhatsApp video calls during those first terrible winter months in Canada when I thought my skin would crack from the cold and my soul would freeze from the loneliness. Amora, I beg, I need your help, she said, and I could hear tears in her voice. My auntie in Lagos is driving me mad. The woman wants to marry me off to that old man from our village. You know the one, Chief Okafor. 70 years old with 3 wives already. I cannot do it. I cannot. My heart broke. This was 2020, but some Nigerian families were still doing this nonsense. Come to Canada, I said without thinking. Come and stay with me. We'll figure it out. Amora, you know say I no get money for flight. And visa. How I go get Canadian visa? I should have thought about it more. I should have asked David first. I should have remembered that in Canada, even helping someone can become your own problem. But I didn't. Because Blessing was my sister. Not by blood, but by bond. And in Nigerian culture, that means something. I paid for her ticket, $200 that I'd been saving for my parents' house project in Nigeria. I wrote her a letter of invitation for her visa application. I lied small, said she was coming for my birthday and Christmas. Canadian Embassy approved it. 6-month visitor visa. January 2021, Blessing landed in Toronto Pearson Airport. I'll never forget her face when she saw snow for the first time. Like a child seeing magic. We hugged at arrivals, and she whispered in my ear, "God bless you, Amora. You saved my life. If only I knew she would destroy mine." The first month was beautiful. Blessing stayed in my second bedroom, and it felt like we were teenagers again, gisting late into the night, cooking Nigerian food in my tiny kitchen. My Jamaican neighbors complained about the smell, but I no send them. She would help me with housework, and I would teach her about Canadian life. Don't smile at strangers on the subway, they'll think you're mad. Don't say sorry for everything, Canadians do it, but for us, we just sound scared. If police pull you over, keep your hands where they can see them. This is not Nigeria. David was nice to her. Too nice, I would later realize. He would come home from his IT job and sit in the living room chatting with Blessing while I cooked. They would laugh at things I didn't hear. But I wasn't worried. David was my husband. Blessing was my sister. I trusted them both completely. Stupid. I was so stupid. By March, Blessing's 6-month visa was running down. She had 3 months left. Amora, what will I do? I cannot go back to Nigeria. Chief Okafor is still waiting. I wanted to help. God knows I wanted to help. But Canadian immigration is not beans. You cannot just stay because you want to. I'd learned this the hard way during my own struggle. Maybe we can find you a job that will sponsor you, I suggested. Or a school. You can apply for study permit. School costs money I don't have. And which job will sponsor me? I'm nobody. Then David said something that should have made me suspicious. There are other ways, he said quietly. Immigration consultants who know shortcuts. Shortcuts? I asked. He means fake job offers, fake documents, Blessing said. She'd been researching. People do it all the time. No, I said firmly. We are not doing that. They will catch you and deport you. Then you can never come back to Canada. But Amara. I said no. The conversation ended there. Or so I thought. April 2021, I started noticing small things. Blessing would be on her phone constantly, typing, smiling at the screen. When I asked who she was chatting with, she'd say nobody and quickly close WhatsApp. David started coming home late from work. Project deadline, he'd say. You know how IT is. I knew how IT was. I was married to it. But something felt off. Then, one Saturday morning in May, I woke up and Blessing wasn't in the apartment. Her room was empty. Her small suitcase, gone. I called her phone. Switched off. I called David. Did Blessing say anything about going somewhere? No idea, he said. Maybe she went back to Nigeria. But her visa wasn't expired yet. And she wouldn't just leave without telling me. Would she? For 2 days, I heard nothing. I was going crazy. Was she okay? Had something happened to her? Did someone kidnap her? Toronto is not Lagos, but bad things still happen. Then, on Monday evening, she sent a WhatsApp message. Amora, I'm sorry. I couldn't tell you. I moved in with someone who can help me with my papers. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. Thank you for everything. Someone who can help with papers. Who? I tried calling. No answer. I sent messages. Seen, but no reply. David came home that night, and I told him. He looked uncomfortable. Maybe it's for the best, he said. She was staying here too long anyway. Too long. She's my friend. I'm worried about her. She's an adult, Amora. She made her choice. His tone was cold. Distant. This wasn't the David I married. Something was very, very wrong. June 2021, the immigration letter came. I opened it, expecting maybe a notice about my PR card renewal. Instead, it was a letter requesting I attend an interview at the IRCC office in downtown Toronto. Your spousal sponsorship application is under review for potential misrepresentation on marriage fraud. My hands started shaking. Marriage fraud. My marriage was real. David and I met through Nigerian friends in Toronto, dated for 2 years before getting married. We had photos, joint bank accounts, everything. I called David at work. Did you get a letter from immigration? No. Why? They are investigating our marriage. They think it's fake. That's impossible. I'll call them tomorrow. But the fear had entered my bloodstream. In Canada, if they think your marriage is fraud, they can revoke your PR. They can deport you. 5 years of hustle, gone. The interview was scheduled for 2 weeks later. I couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. I kept thinking, who would report us? Who would tell immigration our marriage was fake when it wasn't? Then, 1 week before the interview, Blessing sent me a photo on WhatsApp. It was her and David. His arm was around her waist. They were in an apartment I didn't recognize. She was wearing a sweater, the blue one I'd bought him for Christmas. And she was smiling. The caption read, "Sometimes the best things come from unexpected places." Smiling face with heart. I stared at my phone for a full minute, not breathing. Then I called David. Where are you? At work, why? Don't lie to me. Where are you? Silence. Then, quietly, Amora, I can explain. Explain what? Explain why my best friend just sent me a photo of you two looking like a couple. Explain why she's wearing your clothes. It's not what you think. Where is she staying, David? More silence. And then, the truth I already knew but couldn't accept. She's staying with me. At my friend's apartment. My world tilted. You've been living with her. While married to me. It's temporary. Just until she figures out her immigration. You're cheating on me. With my best friend. Amora, listen. I hung up. Then I threw my phone across the room. For the next hour, I cried. The ugly kind of crying where your whole body shakes and snot runs down your face and you cannot breathe properly. The kind of crying that comes when your world breaks completely. But then, anger came. Hot, clear, focused anger. I picked up my phone. Called Blessing. She answered. The audacity. Amora, I'm sorry. You are not sorry. If you were sorry, you wouldn't have done it. It just happened. We didn't plan. You lived in my house. Ate my food. Slept in my bed when I went to night shift. And you slept with my husband. It's not like that. Then what is it like, Blessing? Tell me. She was quiet for a moment. Then her voice changed. Colder. You always acted like you were better than me, Amora. You and your PR, your Canadian husband, your medical job. You brought me here to rub it in my face. I brought you here to help you. You brought me here to be your house help. Cooking, cleaning, listening to you complain about work while I had nothing. David saw me. Really saw me. He loves me. I laughed. A bitter, broken sound. You think he loves you? He used you to hurt me, Blessing. And when he's done, he'll throw you away like rubbish. We'll see about that, she said. By the way, you should know, your immigration interview. That was me. I reported you. I told them your marriage was fake, that David only married you for money, that you paid him. The phone slipped from my hand. She reported me. My best friend. The girl I saved. Reported me to immigration. To destroy me. So she could have my husband. The IRCC interview was a nightmare. 2 officers. Cold room. Aggressive questions. When did you meet your husband? How much money did you pay him to marry you? Is it true you threatened to report him to police if he didn't go through with the sponsorship? Every answer I gave, they twisted. Every photo I showed, they questioned. They had a statement from an anonymous source, claiming David and I barely spoke at home, that we had separate rooms, that he'd confided he only married me for money because his IT business was failing. All lies. All from Blessing. 2 weeks later, the decision came. PR revoked due to marriage fraud. Deportation order issued. 30 days to leave Canada. I called David. Begged him to come to the IRCC office with me, to tell them the truth, to explain that we were really married. I can't, he said. My lawyer says if I get involved, they might charge me with fraud too. I could go to jail. So you're just going to let them deport me? Amora, I'm sorry. I really am. But I have to protect myself. You destroyed me. Both of you destroyed me. It's not personal. Not personal. You cheated on me with my best friend, let her report me to immigration, and now you're letting them send me back to Nigeria with nothing. How is that not personal? He hung up. 3 weeks later, I was on a plane back to Nigeria. Everything I'd built in 5 years, gone. My PR, gone. My job, gone. My marriage, gone. My best friend, gone. All I had left was rage. I landed in Lagos with $300 in my pocket and shame heavy on my shoulders. My family was confused. We thought you were doing well in Canada. How could I explain? How could I tell them that the photos I'd been posting on Facebook, me smiling in front of CN Tower, me in my medical lab coat, me and David looking happy, were all from before everything collapsed? I couldn't. So I lied. Said I'd come back to help with family business. That Canada was too cold, too lonely, that I missed home. They believed me because they wanted to. Because accepting that their daughter had been destroyed abroad was too painful. For 6 months, I was lost. Depressed. Living in my parents' house in Enugu, staring at the ceiling, wondering how my life had become this. Then, one day, my cousin showed me a Facebook post. It was Blessing. She was wearing a wedding dress. David was in a suit beside her. The caption, "Finally married the love of my life." Smiling face with hearts, "Thank you Canada for bringing us together." The comments were full of congratulations from people who didn't know. Who thought this was a beautiful love story. I zoomed in on the photo. Looked at her face. Her smile. She looked happy. And something inside me snapped. Not into sadness. Into clarity. I wasn't going to let them win. I spent the next year rebuilding. Not my old life, that was dead. A new life. A stronger life. I used my medical lab technology degree, which thank God I'd gotten in Nigeria before going to Canada, so it was still valid, to get a job at a private hospital in Lagos. I saved every kobo. I contacted a proper Canadian immigration lawyer, not the cheap one I'd used before, but a senior one who specialized in deportation appeals. "Your case was mishandled," she told me on our first Zoom call. There was no proper investigation. They relied entirely on an anonymous tip with no evidence. "You have grounds to appeal. It would cost 15,000 Canadian dollars. I didn't have it. But I knew someone who did. My uncle, my father's brother, was a retired general. He'd always liked me. When I explained what happened, leaving out the embarrassing parts, he gave me the money. Go back there and clear your name," he said. "Show them Nigerian women are not pushovers." 18 months after my deportation, my appeal was approved. The IRCC had reviewed the case and found insufficient evidence of marriage fraud. The anonymous tip was deemed unreliable without corroboration. My PR was reinstated. I could return to Canada. I landed in Toronto in December 2022. Winter again. Freezing cold. But this time, I wasn't afraid. I didn't tell anyone I was coming back. Not old friends. Not former coworkers. Definitely not David or Blessing. I had rented a small apartment in North York using my lawyer's address. Got my old job back at the medical lab. They were happy to have me because there was a shortage of medical lab techs after COVID. Then, I did my research. I found out David and Blessing had gotten married 6 months after my deportation. She was now on spousal sponsorship, waiting for her PR. They lived in my old apartment. The one I'd paid rent for. The one where she'd stayed in my second bedroom and plotted to destroy me. I found out David's IT business had actually failed during COVID. He was in debt. Serious debt. And I found out something else. Something beautiful. Blessing had lied on her sponsorship application. She'd said she'd never been married before. But I remembered, back in 2015, Blessing had gotten married to some guy in Lagos for 2 months before they divorced quietly because he was abusive. She told me about it during one of our late-night phone calls. Made me swear never to tell anyone because her family was ashamed. But Canadian immigration applications ask, "Have you ever been married before?" And she checked no. That's misrepresentation. That's fraud. That's grounds for deportation. I didn't rush. I gathered evidence. I contacted Blessing's ex-husband in Lagos through Facebook. He was very helpful once I explained the situation. He sent me their marriage certificate from 2015. Their divorce papers. Then, I submitted a detailed report to IRCC. Anonymous, of course. Just like she'd done to me. 3 months later, I was walking through Walmart in Scarborough when I saw her. Blessing. She was alone, pushing a shopping cart, looking at cereal boxes. She looked different. Tired. Her hair was in a rough ponytail, not the sleek braid she always wore. She was wearing an old jacket I recognized, one I'd given her when she first came to Canada. I could have walked away. Should have, maybe. But I didn't. I walked up to her. Hi, Blessing. She turned. And the color drained from her face. Hey, Amora. Surprised to see me. How are you back in Canada? I thought. You thought you'd destroyed me. You thought I'd stay in Nigeria crying while you lived my life. Her hands gripped the shopping cart. What do you want? Nothing, I said calmly. Just wanted to say hi. See how married life is treating you. How's David? Still in debt. Her eyes widened. How do you know? I know a lot of things, Blessing. I know his business failed. I know you're working at Tim Hortons now because his income alone can't support the lifestyle you wanted. I know you're fighting with him every day because the reality of being with him is nothing like the fantasy you built in your head when you were destroying my marriage. She looked like she might cry. But most importantly, I continued, I know that you lied on your immigration application. About your marriage in 2015. About a lot of things, actually. Her face went white. You didn't. Oh, I did. Just like you did to me. How does it feel, Blessing? How does it feel to know that Immigration Canada is probably reviewing your file right now? That they might call you in for an interview? That everything you took from me, David, the apartment, the life, might disappear? Amora, please. Please what? Please don't do to you what you did to me. Please show you mercy you never showed me. I leaned closer. You should have left me alone, Blessing. You should have just lived your life with your stolen husband and kept quiet. But you had to post it on Facebook. You had to rub it in. You had to make sure I knew you'd won. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't fix anything, I said. But karma does. I walked away. Left her standing there in the cereal aisle, shaking. 2 months later, I heard through the Nigerian community grapevine that Blessing had been called for an immigration interview. Her application was under review. 1 month after that, her sponsorship was denied. Misrepresentation discovered. Deportation order issued. David tried to fight it. Hired a lawyer. But the evidence was clear. She'd lied. And in Canadian immigration, lying is the one thing they don't forgive. She was deported in April 2023. I didn't go to the airport to watch. Didn't need to. Knowing was enough. As for David, I never spoke to him again. Last I heard, he was still in that apartment. Still in debt. Still alone. Some people would say I should forgive. That revenge doesn't heal. But this wasn't revenge. This was justice. She tried to bury me. Didn't realize I had receipts. And roots. Today, I'm still in Toronto. Got my PR back, working on my citizenship application. I have a new man, a Nigerian engineer who came to Canada through express entry. We are taking it slow. Learning from past mistakes. I see Blessing's Facebook sometimes. She's back in Enugu. Posting inspirational quotes about betrayal and karma. The irony. Do I regret bringing her to Canada? Every single day. Would I do it again? Never. The lesson I learned. Not everyone who calls you sister wants to see you win. Some people are just studying your life so they can take it. And the Canadian system. It's not perfect. But it's fair. Eventually. To everyone planning to Japa, let me tell you something they don't show on Instagram. The biggest threat abroad isn't racism or the code or even immigration stress. It's the Nigerian sitting in your living room, eating your food, studying your life, waiting for the right moment to take it all. Trust carefully. Verify always.